if all the sisters in the temple are taken, and you a brother that's looking for a sister, you need to be the light that you say you are, so you can attract a sister that has an ear to hear to the temple. When you see a sister out there that has that potential, you know it. If you see a sister out there that's looking for that guidance, that has that pride, but she doesn't know how to apply it, you know how to direct her to apply that. You need to bring her into an environment where she can absorb that, where she can see other sisters.
We're supposed to come in with a humble nature. We come in with a sincere heart. And in our community, it was told to me when I crossed the thresholds and becoming a member was to empty my cup, to come in clean and fresh and open as an open vessel to receive these divine lessons. Now, I can't come into a temple that's already established and that already has certain laws and, again, certain proclivities already associated with each Muslim and each representative of that faith. Who am I to come in and designate what, who, and why should wear what, who, and what? I am coming in humble as a sister.
Your obligation that you have come with this brother is sanctioned by Allah. So there is no worry in obeying him, because you know and he knows that you both are under that covenants of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice from Allah. So he's not going to lead you in a direction that is the opposite of Allah. He's not going to oppress you. He's not going to do anything to put you in harm's way, because he know and you know that Allah is love. So there's no fear. We have no fear in obeying that Allah that's within our husbands. Islam.
And she's absolutely right. And one of the things is that it was interesting when I first got obligated with the chief. One of the things he said, if I touch you, I got to marry you. That's straight off. So it was already a done deal before it actually was announced publicly. But the thing is, and what our governor said, that when the brother is right, when the brother is right and he's actually living according to the dictates of the law of Islam, he's prescribing to everything and being right, the sister then automatically is going to humble herself to the righteous brother, because he's in his proper measure in adhering to the concepts and the ideas that he has taken on as his way of life. That is Islam. So if he's right and exact in doing what he's supposed to do, then the sister is not going to have a problem with it. Now, if the brother is undercover doing something else that he is not supposed to be doing, then that sister probably going to give him a side eye when it comes to obey, because he ain't right. But see, the whole thing is balance.
How many wives can a Moorish American, a Muslim man have? And is it permissible? What is that all about?
I can't speak for what other communities do, but for the most part, brothers have a hard time just kind of dealing with themselves, let alone with just one wife. But we would say that if it is a situation where a brother is obligated to a sister and she is embracing the idea of having a sister wife, then there is counseling involved in that idea.
Let them speak first.
There's a measure of counseling involved in that, and there's a measure of how we supposed to be doing things according to our faith.
Islam. Anybody else want to add to that?
Go ahead.
Because that's a
no, I mean that is a question that comes up a lot, and that is definitely a question that I would say some sisters shy away from, and they, that's one of the reasons why they say, "Oh, I can't do that because them brothers can have more than one wife," or I can't, I can't do that because y'all don't eat pork, or whatever the case is. That's one of the excuses that I have heard where sisters say, they fear or they resistant to joining the Moorish Science Temple of America because brothers can have more than one wife. I would say that within the Moorish Science Temple of America, there is a provision for such. I think it comes about through what's the intentions of that brother. Why is he seeking a second or third or fourth wife? What are those wives or sister wives gonna benefit from that relationship? Why, and back in the days, there was times when, brothers were going out to war and not coming back. and there wasn't a lot of brothers. And so the sisters needed to obligate themselves with a male in order to survive. And, we're past that stage now. But then again, if you look back, we might be still in that situation where there's not a lot of brothers available. And so, there is a provision for that within the Moorish Temple of America. And there is counseling that gets involved. But we have to be careful about what's the intentions of that brother. We have brothers that's like, oh, they don't even have one wife, and they worrying about trying to get a second and third wife. They don't have one. So we got to think about those intentions. Why is that brother seeking a second or third wife? Or why haven't he even gotten a first wife? Can he take care of himself? Because once you take care of yourself and then you get obligated and have a first wife, you got to be able to take care of that second wife, third wife just as well. And at the same level as you taking care of that first wife. So can you take care of her financially? Can you take care of her physically? Can you take care of her spirit, her soul? Can you do all of that for yourself? One wife, two wives? You have to really consider that measure.
Because they say you don't dress like no Muslim. Are you a Muslim? You a Muslim? What's the difference? Islam. Anybody can grab it.
First, I'll say, yeah, you're right. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not in the box that you think I should be in. I'm a Muslim. According to the MST of A 1928, we have our own guidelines and spiritual concepts that we get from our chief minister, how we should look and how we should dress and how we should carry ourselves. We're not put into this. It's like putting me in that same box by calling me Negro, Black, and colored because you think I'm a certain thing. You think I should look, talk, speak, and act a certain way. And that is definitely not the case. We have our own customs. We have our own bylaws. We have our own laws. We have our own marriage laws, additional laws. We have all these beautiful things that were for us by our divine prophet that we don't have to try to take somebody else's culture and make it fit into ours. It's like that square peg trying to put in that round hole. That is simply not the way that we represent ourselves as Muslim sisters in the MST of A. Islam?
Islam. I would definitely say that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali set us aside. He gave us a uniqueness about ourselves, and that's what gives us the right to identify ourselves as Moorish American Muslim. That set us aside. So we are not Muslim, we are Muslim. And the difference between the two is when we say we're a Muslim, that means that we are actively seeking to be in line with Allah. We are actively tuning our will with Allah. It's like the difference between hearing and listening. When you're hearing, that's a passive state. When you're listening, you're actively trying to pay attention. So when we're saying that we're a Muslim, that means we are actively seeking to be with Allah. And so that in our God is what gives us the right to say who we are. The Prophet gave us the path to do that. He gave us that, like I said, a uniqueness that we don't, like us, Governor said, we don't have to fit over here or fit over here because we have our own space here. So being a teacher, it's like being a guider. I feel like I'm responsible for bringing in Moors, bringing in Asiatics into the temple. So I'm responsible for bringing them home. So there is a motherly component to being a governess, but we are also powerful. We are also intelligent. We are also, there's so much that we do as part as being a woman. Just in the home, I'm an accountant. I am the chef. I do take care of the children. I cook the porridge, I wash the clothes, but I'm also involved in leading the family down the path of righteousness. I'm also involved in keeping the temple, keeping accordance in the laws with the temple. I'm also, as their brother Nathaniel, they came on and said he wants to practice polygamy. So him and I are going to have a conversation about that. Let's get you taking care of yourself. Let's get you with a first wife before we start talking about practicing polygamy. So there's a part of my role of me being a teacher, but there's also a part of my role as holding down the law, making sure that our members stay on that straight and narrow path as I'm staying on that straight and narrow path. So our roles as women, our role as being a governess is dynamic. It's not one-dimensional or two-dimensional. Islam?
I just want to note that we wear multitudes of hats, even though our position, official position, is governess, and me being the grand governess, we also are part of. We make up the grand body, and we have a couple other sisters. That's, I think, one brother that's on the grand body that's with us. And the thing is, we was groomed for our positions. We didn't just, was thrown into this. We went through some hard knocks, all of us, in terms of getting to where we at. And none of it, there is no head in our organization from sheik to a grand sheik, grand governors that have raised their hands for a position, because we understand the work comes behind when you got a strong leader. He's no joke here. So we basically been groomed into our positions. And even to, I have to give to the credit, our beloved Governor Shanti is also our wellness minister, because she's a nurse practitioner. So she helps also govern the health of our community and giving advice, checking in on us when anyone's in the hospital, what's going on, let me know. We run it down to her. So she even brings some of her expertise from her secular career in healthcare to our community, so we all can benefit from that. So a lot of us, we have brothers and sisters in our community that are psychologists. We got brothers that's business owners. And so they bring an element to that to fortify and build up our community. Because when one of us successful, we all are successful. And we encourage each other. We build each other up. We support each other. We are a very tight-knit community here. And we got mad love for each other. Islam.
I also want to say that as governors, we govern. Means we provide structure. We enforce laws. We make sure that people are holding their positions. We hold people accountable. So all of that has everything to do with what the prophet brought in terms of his laws. Now, from the point of view of being a mother, I mean, if you're a mother and you're going to have a child and you're going to bear children and you're going to clean and cook and all that, but that's not the totality of what we do. It's not even 50% or 75% of what we do. We make sure that we enforce the law first, and we make sure that we govern ourselves accordingly first. So just because we look different as females and we have different attributes than the brothers do, as Sister Shanti stated, we are highly intelligent. We are all in our own right professionals inside the temple, outside the temple. But more importantly, we are law-abiding citizens within this MST of A.
This is how you transition, but it has to start with a relationship. We have to build trust, because when the Asiatic is transitioning out of the cares of the world and into the temple, it's scary. There's a time when you're lonesome, when you're by yourself, and you should take that time to study yourself and be selfish and look in that mirror. And that time is dangerous and is scary. And so we have to build relationships first. So that sister has to build a trustful relationship and a connection with another sister in order for her to make that transition smoothly. And we do that very well, I would say, in this grand body. We connect with each other. And if we're having any problem with any sister transitioning, we jump in, we help raise her up. And like I said, we do a really good job here with that, Islam.
In our community, we first have to inform you of what you are actually wanting to connect to. Then when that informing comes, then there's the education. It's educating you on what the prophet actually brought. The Moorish Temple of America is the educational branch for people to come in, like Ellis Island. You coming out of the cares of the world. So we bringing you in and to educate you, and therefore the upliftment then begins. So we are not, looking for something out there. It's like I had to get knee surgery. I'm going to look at the recommendations on the doctors to see who's qualified on cutting my knees, because I don't want someone putting my leg on backwards. I want to make sure he's going to do his job well and that he's been certified to do this particular procedure. What is his discipline? What is his background? Because people can talk science all day and Islam all day and say this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, how are they living? How are they living? Islam.
He is tough for a reason. He does not play when it comes to Islam, especially with the sisters. And I can't tell you exactly, he would have to tell you exactly why, but it's something about the sisters that he makes sure that we're not only protected, but that we're well informed. And you call it chastising, you could call it, being tough or whatever, but that gives me strength. I actually feed off of that, because my personality is that of such. But he allows us to be our own selves and our own personalities, and he knows how to relate to each and every one of us. He doesn't treat everyone the same way and have the same disposition or have the same voice or tone in it. He's trained in this. He's done counseling in his past and other different exercises of reform. So he enables us to be strong, but he pushes us to make sure that we're stronger when we get out there. So he beats us up real good, in the chamber. But when we go out to the cares of the world, you can't touch us. We're trained by the best. You cannot touch us.
Boot camp, MST 1928, boot camp.
Hey.
Boot camp here. We don't prescribe to boyfriend and girlfriend. There is a transitioning into actual obligation through the courtship. So this way, the temple, the community is supporting that relationship. The brother and the sister is getting counseling and guidance to make sure that everything is exact and right, and everything is in a line. We have order here. It's a beautiful system that is based on how our prophet Noble Ali constructed, and because we have a strong leadership that has no wiggle room for error or for anything less than the truth.
If all the sisters in the temple are taken, and you a brother that's looking for a sister, you need to be the light that you say you are, so you can attract a sister that has an ear to hear to the temple. When you see a sister out there that has that potential, you know it. If you see a sister out there that's looking for that guidance, that has that pride, but she doesn't know how to apply it, you know how to direct her to apply that. You need to bring her into an environment where she can absorb that, where she can see other sisters. When I first joined the temple, my husband joined the temple before I did. And when I saw the reflection upon him, I was drawn to it, like instantly, because I couldn't believe where this brother was coming from. I mean, he wasn't a horrible. I'm not trying to make him into a wholly different person. But when he told me he proclaimed his nationality, I didn't know what he was talking about at all. I was just like, well, where is this coming from? But the light that he brought with him was blinding to me, that I had to have a piece of it. So I would implore the brothers out there that are looking for sisters, be the light. Like Sister Shanti, Governor Shanti said, take care of yourself first so you can make sure you're in line with what the temple requirements are. So when you go out and you see one of these sisters out here, hopefully one that's not fully exposed, but one that's out there that can, has that potential, bring her into the system, bring her to the temple. Let her get around some sisters like us. Let her see that there's light beyond this brother, and there's potential for her to be able to rectify herself in this world so that she can one with that brother. So be the light that you say you are.
Islam. Hold on to chapter 20 and 20. Hold it to chapter 20, 21. Make sure we got our Circle 7 Quran. And the brothers should use this as a measurement stick to the sister they get with.
Islam, I would say that one of the main differences is in a marriage, it's a more of a contractual agreement according to a European standard. And when you obligate yourself, you're obligating your commitment to Allah within that union. And it's not a matter of what a court says or a rules and regulations by someone else who prescribes for you in your relationship. It's according to the love that you have for Allah as one, as a union, that you don't have to subscribe to, well, in order for me to be married, I have to go to this system in order to be accepted in society of these Americas. We don't have to do that. We have our own guidelines, rules, and regulations to be obligated and one with Allah and his love.
Yeah. Prophet said if you don't believe him, go buy your wives from the European court. Our prophet prescribed as Chicago being our Moorish Mecca for a reason. And it's a mean lesson. We definitely don't have the time to go into. That's another show. But no, we you know that idea with the Hajj in Arabia is that is not prescribed by us. We our measure is here, you know, so we don't have to take that mammoth journey as our prophet stated. But the greatest Hajj is every time we make Salat, we Hajjing. Where's the nearest place we meet Allah? In the heart of the mind. So every time we make our Salat, we are also Hajjing. You know, so there's that measure of that spiritual Hajj is the greatest Hajj that we must adhere to.
Woo!
And talking about the European holidays, one of the holidays is Mother's Day. And so with Mobitus Day, we are celebrating all sisters, not just those that have physically given birth to children, but those that are mothers of temples, those that are mothers to children that are not their own, those that are sisters, aunts, you know, Mobitus, smaller Mobituses, younger sisters. So we're giving and celebrating all sisters. We're in Syracuse. We're having an event where we're celebrating sisters and entrepreneurship on May 19th in celebration of sisterhood. So we're not just limited to those who have given birth, those that are mothers. We are celebrating all sisters, Islam.
I would just like to say it's been an honor. I would ask that if you're listening or if you're watching or whatever the case may be, always start with self. And you start with self and start with Allah, you can't go wrong. Don't get caught up in what somebody else thinks, says, or believes you should be. You know what you should be, and you know your path to get there.